Heineken. Fuck that shit. Pabst Blue Ribbon. Oh my god. I was reminded of one of my favorite movie lines today. It's from Blue Velvet. David Lynch, the director, passed away today. It seems probably from emphysema. If you smoke, quit fucking smoking, folks. Took two of my relatives. Two of my grandfather and my grandmother. This movie behind me, Wild at Heart. One of our favorite movies. In the neighborhood, my baby brother could throw out lines from this movie like you couldn't believe. It's great. Nicolas Cage, Laura Dern. The references to the Wizard of Oz in this movie are sweet. William Dafoe says a line that some of the crew in the neighborhood would always repeat. Oh my god. Just some of the craziness. We're huge David Lynch fans. Without David Lynch and Salvador Dali, we would have been pretty freaking normal. Both of them are surrealists. No David Lynch, there's none of this show. There's none of this videos. None of this me being who I am. David Lynch deciding to shoot on digital video for his last movie, Inland Empire, which I got to recently see on the big screen when it was re-released, restored. They restored it. Was badass. Basically, his decision to shoot a movie on digital video inspired me to keep going. Because the cost of film stock to make a movie is very cost prohibitive. I still love film stock. Having worked for Kodak, love Kodak motion picture film. But basically, David Lynch's movies popped into our radar, our family's radar, because the Elephant Man 1980 used to be on what I'd call original cable. The first cable you had these so many of these same movies, and the Elephant Man was one of them. So you'd see it all the time, and and I'm trying to remember the line we used to repeat. I am not an animal. I'm a man. I'm not an animal. So I mean, before we even knew really who we were seeing, David Lynch, we were seeing David Lynch movies, and then basically. About the time, I'm trying to think when my brother, I don't know if it would have been when the series Twin Peaks, which I'm looking over here to kind of see when stuff came out. Twin Peaks, a TV show, 1990 to 91. We'd always be baked watching that. That was just par for the course. The Lady with the Log, if you've seen the show, you'll know about it. If you don't, watch it. It's great, tripped out. The actors, he used a lot of the same actors and a lot of the stuff. Just great. Phenomenal stuff. Surreal, very bizarre. You walk out of a David Lynch movie, seeing him on the big screen. I got lucky in the last few years. There's a professor in University of Cincinnati that loves playing some movies. That's one of them, David Lynch stuff. So I've seen a lot of his stuff on the bigger screen recently in the last couple of years. Trying to look over here, so bear with me. I did get to actually recently see his Dune on the big screen. That's 1984. That was another one on original cable. You would see certain movies. Dune and the Elephant Man. Those were on original cable all the frickin' time. Then you got Pabst Blue Ribbon, Blue Velvet. That came out in 1986. So when that was around, one of my older brothers came with that and with Eraserhead, which is one of the more bizarre movies you'll ever see. And that was like his first-ish film, basically 1977. So if you haven't gotten into any David Lynch's stuff, they're phenomenal. He was a big influence on so many people, us included in this neighborhood. Once again, without David Lynch, I wouldn't be doing this. I mean, he was the first one that popped up and just created something that you were like, wow, I don't have to create this basically plain stuff. Just this mediocre, vanilla boring, formula stuff. You could create surrealism in film. I mean, granted, you could go back into the actual surrealist movement with Dali and all them, that group. But I'm talking about a modern surrealist. And I love that. And that's basically kind of what I try to do with this. Just, if I could go through some of the code on so many of the videos. I mean, just recently with the What the Heck car wreck, there's something in there that I mentioned that if you're paying attention, you'll be like, why does he mention that? It's something in the environment, I'm noticing it, but it's also a clue to something. But, there's so much when you're watching David Lynch stuff, and there's so much references and his influence on the from the Wizard of Oz movie that is really awesome. So basically, if you haven't got a chance to see David Lynch's films, two of his more, I mean, The Elephant Man's normal, the Dune one is kind of normal, Wild at Heart is a trip, Blue Velvet's a trip, but those are normal. You get into the Inland Empire, which he shot on the digital video. It's a bizarre one. Mulholland Drive's a bizarre one. The Lost Highway, I think it's The Lost Highway, which has the tailgating scene, which I love. If it's not that, it's Mulholland Drive. I get confused. I've seen them all recently, luckily, on the big screen. But yeah, I mean, it's a tragic loss. I didn't realize he was sick. I follow his stuff constantly, and one of the guys, Josh, that I used to work with, we'd talk about him all the time, and Mr. Simon, he's getting into him more. And yeah, without David Lynch, I would have given up on trying to basically do all this stuff. It was only when I have a magazine somewhere. It's either in my attic or we had a flood in 2018 in this basement. Long story. So some of the stuff got messed up. So I have a magazine, filmmaker magazine, with him in it, talking about the use of digital to make a movie, and that totally re-energized me. Inland Empire came out in 2006, so it would have been 2000, probably 3, 4, 5. I read this interview with him, and I'm like, oh, he's going to make a movie using digital video. I can make a movie using digital video. So it inspired a lot of people. So sad in passing. As always, love the people you're around, your influences, and people that inspire you. Hold them dear. Love their stuff. Be cool with people as best you can. You never know. I mean, people are gone like that. I was supposed to make movies with my baby brother. He's gone. So, be cool with people and love everybody as best you can. Some people, just want to, gotta jog on by. But, that's it. I love David Lynch. It's sad to hear of his passing. We don't get to see more cool stuff from him, because so much of his stuff is just ingenious. It's fun. It's weird. It's strange. It made you just walked out and you're like, wow, that was a trip. Okay, adios, folks. Good night.